The Zephyrian War Council's laughter echoed through the crystalline chambers of their flagship, a sound like breaking glass mixed with dying wind chimes. Admiral Kextar's four eyes gleamed with malicious amusement as he studied the tactical display, showing the approaching human fleet. 17 vessels, he wheezed between chuckles, his translator struggling with the alien concept of mockery. These primitive mammals dare to challenge the might of the Zephyrian hegemony, with 17 rust buckets? His subordinates joined the chorus of derision. The humans had been expanding into what the Zephyrians considered their territory for months now, establishing colonies on worthless worlds that the elder species had deemed unfit for habitation. When diplomatic protests had failed, the hegemony had decided to demonstrate why they ruled this sector of the galaxy. Their largest vessel barely registers as cruiser class by our standards, reported Navigation Officer Viltheta, her mandibles clicking with disdain. Our dreadnoughts outmass their entire fleet 3-1. Admiral Kextar's laughter subsided into a predatory purr. Signal the fleet. We'll give them a chance to surrender before we turn their ships into stellar debris. It would be educational for the galaxy to witness what happens to species that overestimate themselves. The human fleet hung in space like a collection of mismatched toys. Their ships bore the scars of hard use, patch welds gleaming dully against hull plating, jury-rigged weapons arrays, and sensor arrays that had clearly seen better decades. To the Zephyrians, they looked exactly like what refugees and colonists might cobble together from salvage and desperation. Captain Sarah Chen stood on the bridge of the human flagship, the destroyer Defiant, watching the massive Zephyrian formation deploy into battle formation. 37 vessels, each one a masterpiece of alien engineering, their biometal hulls shifting and flowing like liquid mercury as internal configurations optimized for combat. "They're hailing us," reported Communications Officer Rodriguez, his young face pale but determined. On screen, Admiral Kextar's insectoid features filled the main display, his four compound eyes glittering with what humans might mistake for gems if they didn't know better. "Primitive humans," he began, his translator rendering the words with obvious disdain. "You have wandered into claimed space. Withdraw immediately or face the consequences of your ignorance." Captain Chen stepped forward, her stance casual but her eyes hard as steel. "This is Captain Chen of the Terran Colonial Fleet. These systems were unclaimed when we surveyed them. We have every right to be here." The alien's laughter returned, a sound that made several bridge crew members wince. "Rights? You speak of rights when you pilot these pathetic relics? Your entire fleet couldn't damage a single one of our patrol vessels. This is your final warning." "I appreciate the concern for our well-being," Chen replied, her tone conversational, "but we're not going anywhere. However, I'll make you the same offer. Withdraw now, and nobody has to get hurt." The transmission cut off, replaced by another wave of alien laughter that somehow came through on open channels. Across the Zephyrian fleet, crew members shared the joke, humans threatening them with 17 barely functional ships. "Ma'am," Rodriguez said quietly, "they're powering weapons." Chen nodded, then pressed a button on her command chair. "This is Defiant to all ships. Execute Plan 7. The human fleet began to scatter, and the Zephyrian laughter grew louder. Running already, just as expected. Admiral Kextar was preparing to give the order to pursue when his sensors officer's voice cut through the celebration, like a plasma blade through flesh. "Admiral, we're detecting a massive hyperspace signature. Something big is coming through." The space behind the human fleet began to ripple and tear as something clawed its way out of hyperspace. What emerged made the massive Zephyrian dreadnoughts look like pleasure craft. The TCS Retribution was not built for elegance or efficiency. It was built for one purpose: to take damage that would vaporize other ships and keep fighting. Nearly 3 kilometers of armored death. Its hull bore the scars of 100 battles and the fury of a species that had learned warfare in the crucible of Earth's own violent history. The Zephyrian laughter died instantly. "Impossible," Admiral Kextar whispered. "Our intelligence indicated no human vessels larger than—" His sensor officer's voice cracked with fear. "Admiral, I'm detecting multiple hyperspace signatures. More ships incoming." One by one, the wolves emerged from hyperspace. The TCS Vengeance, its hull-bearing kill markers from 3 previous alien conflicts. The TCS Inexorable, mounting weapons that violated 17 different galactic treaties. The TCS Reckoning scarred from bow to stern but radiating threat like a star radiates heat. 17 fleet escorts. Captain Chen's voice came across all channels, no longer conversational but cold as the void between stars. And 7 ships of the line. Still want to dance? Admiral Kekstar stared at the tactical display in growing horror. Each human battleship outmassed his largest dreadnought. Their weapon signatures were unlike anything in the galactic databases, primitive by some standards perhaps, but built with the kind of brutal efficiency that suggested their creators understood the mathematics of mutual annihilation. The escorts, Viltheta whispered. They were bait. Signal the fleet, Admiral Kekstar commanded, his 4 eyes never leaving the display showing weapon ports opening along the human battleships, like the eyes of sleeping giants awakening. Full withdrawal. Maximum burn. The retreat was swift and absolute. 37 ships of the Zephyrian hegemony fleeing before 24 human vessels like leaves before a hurricane. Captain Chen smiled as she watched them go. Sometimes, she told her crew, it's not about the size of the fleet in the fight. It's about the size of the fight in the fleet. Behind them, the 7 battleships began the slow process of returning to hyperspace. Their job done. They had other borders to patrol, other enemies to discourage, but their message was clear. Humanity might be young, might be inexperienced, might build ships that looked like industrial accidents waiting to happen. But they built them tough. They crewed them with people who wouldn't back down, and they never ever came to a fight unprepared. The Zephyrians learned that day why humanity had earned respect among the older species. Not through superior technology or ancient wisdom, but through the simple, terrifying fact that when pushed, humans pushed back harder. And they never fought fair.